Fellow heroes and Force users of all ages, hello there. Welcome back to Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. I'm Daniel Dawson, and I'm joined by my dear friends and fellow Nerf herders, Alyssa Simmons.
Hello.
And Dino Nicandros.
Hello.
So breathy. Today we are discussing the brand new and gorgeously imaginative anime extravaganza, Star Wars Visions. And by God, we're Star Wars fans.
I don't know who you are or where you came from.
I am Iron.
I thought they smelled bad. On the outside.
Smells like a new car in here.
Inside the Tauntaun, this is our opening song. Alyssa, Daniel, Dino, talking nerd stuff, come along. Inside the Tauntaun podcast, please like and subscribe.
Oh, I'm so excited to talk about this with you guys.
Finally! It
New
feels
Star
like
Wars.
this came
A
out
new
12 years
Star
ago.
Wars. Yeah, the 22nd of September.
That
Three-
was
yeah,
two,
3 weeks
that was
ago?
actually 3
Yeah,
years ago.
couple weeks ago. Yeah, we had a couple of other things to cover before we got to this, but
It got very busy for a second there.
We did a Far
And this was like a
Cry.
really these were very long episodes. Very
oh, they took so
there
long
was
to get through.
So
yeah.
many
Just-
episodes.
Whoever thought to make 9 feature films,
My God,
Oh wow.
animated feature films. How
what are
dare
you
they?
nuts?
I could have and would have watched.
Danced all night?
I could have danced all
Could've
night.
danced all night.
Um,
There it is. We got it.
There's the reference. It's out of the way. I would have watched so many more.
Yeah. Oh, in a heartbeat.
Personally,
Yeah.
but it's always good when they leave you wanting more. I always
That's it.
say.
That's it.
Well,
Yeah.
generally speaking, Alyssa, you are, to some degree, an anime fan, yes?
To some degree, I think more than anything else, I just have like a super duper soft spot in my heart for all things Japan
Oh,
because
sure.
I lived in Japan for a year when I worked at Tokyo Disney, and I just love it so much. And I love
I wanna go
Japanese
there so
people
bad.
so much, and
I just feel like they're like kind of like my people. Like I don't know, just
they
like,
would be overwhelmed by you, but like but in like a very happy way.
sure.
They would be like, because you're absolutely like their brand of entertainment because they
Yeah.
love things that are like so much.
They love a theme too, like you know.
But like as a person, you would be overwhelming to them
yeah,
because
yeah.
for the most part, like, you know, you could walk into like Shibuya Crossing, which is like one of the
Mhm.
most crowded places in the whole entire world, and
Is
it's
that that,
still
like-
and it's
like
it's the
Times Square-y
crazy
looking place?
crosswalk, where
Yeah.
it's like it crosses like 100 ways, and
Iconic
you
place.
could like hear a pin drop
Oh
because
shit.
people are so
That would be so weird.
so insanely polite and courteous in public settings.
Wow. Oh yeah.
So
I would be a spooky person there.
but as far as an entertainer goes, they would absolutely be on board.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
there goes
Um,
that poop guy. What
Yeah.
a fun. Do they like fart humor there?
I'm gonna say yes in certain settings.
Okay, great. Well, I mean they have like poop themed restaurants. So
yeah, they're all about a theme.
yeah, they love a theme.
So,
I
anyways,
need to go
answer
there
your
also.
question,
Sorry.
to answer your question in a really long, gushy way, yes, I do have some experience with anime, but the anime that I love the most is like Americanized. You know,
Also
it's,
same.
Right.
Yeah.
it's Pokemon, it's Avatar, it's
Pokemon.
Legend of Korra,
Oh my God.
It was
My
Dragon
Hero
Ball Z for
Academia.
me growing up.
Dragon
That
Ball
was-
Z. Yeah,
Although I don't know, is My Hero Academia Americanized?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, and Ghost in
Yeah.
the Shell kind of is, too,
Sure.
Mhm.
even
Yeah,
though that's...
so I'm certainly not
yeah.
an anime savant by any
Have you ever seen
means.
Death Note?
No.
Oh, that one's really good. It's so spooky. Ooh.
But this was exciting for a lot of reasons. I
Oh my
think
God.
most of us know the sort of history that Star Wars has with Japanese cinema.
Yeah.
And to start us off, Dino is going to just tell us a little bit about that history.
Well, yeah, you said it. If you're familiar with Star Wars and you grew up with Star Wars, chances are you've read an article or been exposed to an interview that George Lucas has done in which he cites Akira Kurosawa, the famous Japanese filmmaker, as being very instrumental in the development of Star Wars' story. And I don't mean that directly. I mean that from Kurosawa's own filmography. If you're not
Although
familiar
that
with
cool if he
Kurosawa...
actually did work on it.
That would have been cool.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I remember we were talking about it. This is probably months and months ago. It might have even been last year, and I think it was during Mandalorian, where
Going back in time.
where George Lucas, I guess George Lucas had told a story to Dave Filoni about falling asleep at the table with Akira Kurosawa.
Oh, it was Bryce Dallas Howard.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
It wasn't George
I don't
Lucas.
remember that.
Bryce
Yeah, it was Bryce Dallas
Howard.
Howard when she was in Japan with her dad.
Yes, that's right.
Uh-huh.
Not
Yeah.
George
What'd she do?
Lucas.
She was in Japan with her dad on some business trip when she was
Yeah.
a little kid, and she talked about this in the Mandalorian documentary Disney Gallery, like the first time around,
mhm,
the
that's
longer
right.
one. And she just talked about being in Japan with her dad, George Lucas, and Akira,
right.
and she was like falling asleep at the table because she was like a little kid, and
Oh,
she's like,
yeah.
I look
She's
back
like,
at it
"This
now.
conversation's boring.
She's like, I look back at it now, and I was like, oh my gosh,
You were
what
at the table
what,
with the-
what was I doing?
the most
Sleeping.
incredible people. Yeah,
Yeah.
wow. Hilarious.
Kurosawa has had a huge influence, not just on George Lucas, like Martin Scorsese famously called him his master. There's a reverence in American filmmaking for Kurosawa's filmography. One of his earlier movies, I wouldn't say it's even one of the first, because this was 10 years into him making movies, he made Rashomon, which is a film that is basically taught in law school. And it's a movie shot from three different perspectives. You see the story from three different angles as they try to solve a crime. And it's from each point of view, and you have to determine who's telling the truth. And you could see why something like that would be taught in American law school, because it's such a master class in gathering evidence and taking people's word. So Rashomon rears its head a little bit in Star Wars, the influences, but what really kickstarted Star Wars was 1954's Seven Samurai. Not long after that, The Hidden Fortress.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Hidden
one? Which one is the film where George looked like there are like shots that look
The Hidden Fortress.
super similar?
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
And remind me, I need to post it on our Instagram. There's a video
Oh, a
someone
side-by-side.
posted on YouTube of about a 2.5 minute side by side of A New Hope and The Hidden Fortress.
Yeah, that
wonderful.
like beautiful sunset image in Tatooine where it's like
Mhm.
purpley, like that's almost like a direct shot pulled from.
Well, and I don't want to go too deep into Hidden Fortress because I really am recommending people watch this movie.
Wait,
because
why have
it's,
we not done this yet?
It's really terrific, and even for 1958, the scale and scope. Kurosawa is always a master of cinematography and kind of pushing the boundaries of what was the norm at the time. One could understand why George Lucas would then take that and run with it.
Of course.
But the general premise of Hidden Fortress follows these two kind of bumbling thieves, essentially who became C-3PO and R2-D2, and the entire story is told through their perspective. Now, these two aren't what we would call ethical, but they kind of serve as
And neither
our
R2-D2 and
narrator.
C-3PO.
If C-3PO was you know running drugs or something,
Which he was.
which I mean,
Obviously.
you've got R2. I mean, yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be pretty easy, I think. So they kind of serve as our point of view. And the whole story revolves around getting this general and this princess back safely to their people amidst this big civil war.
Interesting. Sounds so
Sound
familiar.
Yeah. Huh.
Hmm.
And there's even some influences of Hidden Fortress, not just in A New Hope, but pushing forward far as Return of the Jedi. the main villain of the Hidden Fortress eventually turns at the end. He's got this big scar that he's gotten, and he saves the hero and the princess. And,
I love that.
So that all
But
sounds
it is
very
its own
familiar.
standalone, right? There's no like sequels or anything like that to it.
No, there was a. If I remember correctly, there was a light remake or a light
really?
reboot. I haven't seen it in like 2008.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not familiar with it, but
Did it
but
take place in space?
oh. Well, I was going to say, no, it doesn't have an official sequel, but it has many sequels in
the Star
one
Wars
sense.
universe.
Yeah, right,
it's-
right,
Sure.
right.
So
I guess
Hidden
you
Fortress.
consider them prequels.
Yeah, right. So Hidden Fortress, again, is the godfather of Star Wars. And really much of the imagery George Lucas drew on was the same stuff Kurosawa drew on, and it's a very particular part of Japanese history called the Edo period. And this is kind of when Japan feudalized. It was a feudal society, and the leadership of Japan were these chiefs called shogun, which means roughly supreme military leader, and they presided over samurai and merchants. I mean, every class of people were under these military generals. And think of all the iconography in Star Wars. I mean, I'll take Darth Vader's armor,
Oh yeah,
for
he's
instance.
a samurai.
I mean, that is
it's-
ripped from the pages of Japanese artwork. And
Yeah, he's legit a samurai.
right, and thank you for that segue. So the idea of samurai culture, again, not hard to draw parallels between the Jedi and the samurai, and that's as close a tie as you get, really. And there's even a word in Japanese, which is kind of a tantamount to period drama, and it's pronounced jidaigeki.
Huh. Now that sounds familiar.
Huh.
Yeah, and the sort of like code of honor that samurai followed is, I mean, almost like verbatim how Jedi operate. You know
Right,
what I mean?
it's Bushido. It's
Yes,
the way of the
Bushido.
warrior. Way of the
The
warrior.
Wario.
Way of the warrior.
Ah, yeah, I'm a gonna win.
Warrior.
I'm a Wario.
God dang.
What is this?
Way of the warrior. Way of the warrior.
Way of the warrior. Unique
But yeah,
New
as
York.
Alyssa was saying, the Jedi Code is very similar to Bushido. And what's super interesting, and what I will get into it as we go specifically through some of these episodes. But if the Jedi and the samurai are parallel entities, if we're thinking of it that way, the samurai weren't all good.
Sure.
No.
And
Yeah, a lot of gray area there.
a lot of gray area, and that's where Ronins come in. The
Right.
idea of lone warriors, lone ranger. If you were thinking, if westerns are a Japanese parallel as well, American westerns. The
You
idea
ever
of
seen Ronin?
Hmm?
The movie Ronin?
I have not.
No, I haven't either.
I think that was like, if I'm right, it was like one of the best car chases ever. I think it's still considered
Oh.
one of the best car chases ever.
In Ronin.
I don't, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
But yes, the idea of Ronin, and really from the idea of Ronin, you could start to extrapolate the idea of the Sith.
Oh,
Or
yeah, absolutely.
Fiercely, not from Ronin weren't traditionally evil, but really the idea of the Sith is fierce independence and loyalty really to yourself. So that's just a kind of a very general overview of a very vast influence that Japanese filmmaking and Akira Kurosawa have over Star Wars, and that's how we got something like Visions.
Awesome.
It's
And I'm kind of
amazing that
surprised-
after all these years, it's like kind
I
of
know
Yeah,
that
basically
exactly.
come
that
full
was
circle.
yeah. I think that all of us kind of felt that way. Like, how did this just happen now?
Yeah,
But
truly.
so glad it did.
Yeah, yeah, really.
All right, cool. Well,
were due.
I'm just gonna go over quickly some of the cool Star Wars festivals and exhibitions that have happened in Japan over the last little while.
I want to go there so bad.
They don't want you there, Daniel. Just stop.
No.
So another reason that I think that Star Wars does really well in Japan is because of the kawaii culture. Kawaii, directly translated, means cute.
Oh.
And it is a big part of Japan.
Just running our
just-
cute segment.
They just love, kawaii. They just love all things cute and childlike and shy. Those are the
Mhm.
sort of things that they like. And, there's a lot of cute things in Star Wars.
Very cute.
They love Wookiees.
Tauntauns,
they
for
love
instance?
Ewoks. They love Tauntauns. Anything, So, and I really wish that I would have been living there when Mandalorian came out, because I'm sure
Oh
Grogu
my
is like
God.
a literal
for-
national
yeah.
celebrity there.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so they had their very first celebration in 2008 to celebrate the 30th anniversary of A New Hope.
Oh, wait, was that the official Star Wars celebration, or is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it took him till 2008.
Same.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Star Wars celebrations were still relatively new at that time, but still.
True.
Yeah. One thing that happened, I'm so bummed. I just barely missed it, but it was being promoted while I was living there, is this really amazing snow festival that happens in Sapporo. And happened for the first time in 2015, and then they did it again in 2017. And they built these enormous snow sculptures of Star Wars characters.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a big snow festival. They do a lot of other, characters and sculpture work, but a main portion of the exhibit were these enormous stormtroopers and Darth Vader, C-3PO, R2-D2, I think. So that's amazing.
Do you want to build an R2-D2?
Yes. Here's how you know that Star Wars is so incredibly special in Japan. At one of the most famous temples in Kyoto, Kiyomuzudera, they had a Rimpa-style folding screen where Rey and Kylo Ren were depicted as the gods of thunder and wind.
Cool. Very,
At an actual
very
temple.
Cool. Very, very cool.
One thing that I didn't know, and this is obviously where the namesake of the animated series comes, is there was a touring exhibit for a couple of years between 2017 and 2019 called Star Wars Visions.
Oh, real? Oh.
And the exhibit featured movie costumes and Star Wars art and toured all over Japan. Another cool thing that happened also in 2015, obviously we're seeing a lot of 2015 because that's when Force Awakens
Yep.
was released. There was a sand sculpture done of all of the Star Wars characters
Oh my God.
in
amazing.
Totori. And they were even larger than the snow sculptures. So they're
Dang.
just not messing around with the sculptures.
No, they like their sculptures.
They do.
There are 5 permanent Star Wars cafes located
Oh my god.
all over Japan. They're immaculately themed.
Oh.
I did go to one
Why aren't we there
in
now?
Tokyo proper, and they had all the cool drinks and
What was it themed?
snacks.
Do
And
you remember?
Oh, it was like a cantina.
Oh,
it was
amazing.
yeah, it was like a cantina, but all the stuff in there was just like immaculately themed, and everyone that worked there was dressed up. So
Dope.
it was awesome.
That's amazing.
Very dope.
And this I just learned about. This is the last thing I'll share with you, but
It better be.
it's so good. And then you don't say anything the rest of the episode.
You remain quiet.
But, in 2019, there was a limited engagement run of a Star Wars kabuki.
Oh my God.
So, it only ran for a couple of weeks, but it was
Why would
called
they do that?
it was called, maybe they'll bring it back, who knows.
They should.
I'm not sure when it was in 2019, so it's possible it could have been shut down because of COVID reasons.
It'll be 3D Theatrical's next show.
Yes, please.
Please.
And it was called Three Shining Swords, and it sort of combined the stories of Force Awakens and Last Jedi.
Interesting.
And the play was split into 3 acts, which is traditional in kabuki. And in order to have the characters feel their characters' names feel more Japanese, they changed them slightly. So I will read to you what their names were,
Oh my
because
God,
I think it's
amazing.
so beautiful. And also, having lived there, I know how they said my name, which is
Yeah.
like slightly different from how we say it here.
So what you said they changed the names because of like copyright
So
kind
they
of
would
issues, or?
no, they changed the names so they would just sound more like classically Japanese,
Oh,
since it's like a
interesting. Okay.
kabuki play, and kabuki is very ancient. You know?
Yeah.
So Kylo Ren was called Kaira no Suke.
Ooh.
That's pretty common that the L is changed to an R
Sure.
because
Okay.
the L sound is not in their language at all.
Right.
So they called me Arisa, like with an R.
Cute.
Luke, obviously also an R. Ruku.
Oh, cute. Very cute.
Leia, Ryan. Han Solo, Hanzo. I like that one.
I like
Hanzo.
that one.
Rey, Rena. Snoke, Sunakaku.
Sunakaku.
Admiral
sounds fun.
Plagueis as
Admiral Haldo, Amari. Jedi, which Dino already talked about, Judai. And First Order, Oregon.
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 They have a great
Oregon.
trail. I heard.
Portland, Oregon. Yeah, so that's just some of the amazing exhibits and events that have happened all about Star Wars in Japan.
Damn it! You made me so angry that I haven't been there yet. God.
You'll go.
I will.
someday.
No, I will. 100%. I'm like already planning a trip. My God. Well, okay. Well, visions. So
Let's talk about the show.
the thing we've been here waiting to talk about for 12,000 years. Here it is. My God. So I'm just curious. Which of the episodes did you feel could have been a pilot episode for a dope Star Wars show that you'd like to see more of?
That's a great question.
That's an excellent question.
Okay, Dino, what's your answer?
Okay, so this question will be different than which one is.
Your fave?
Yeah.
The fave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which one would be the best pilot?
Yeah. I know
Okay,
it's hard.
I think it's a tie, but I'll pick one.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
The first one, the duel.
The duel.
Oh, the
Okay.
duel, very cool. I mean, the
It-
idea of like the guy going around collecting all of the kyber crystals. and-
Yes.
Yeah,
that,
dope.
That is very cool to me, and it works as a pilot because it hints at this large galaxy. You get a very
and then he's gonna go do it again.
you have a very very brief line that the stormtroopers that show up are a remnant of a war that's ended. So you kind of get the feeling that this is in the Mandalorian time period,
Sure.
which is still rife with all sorts of material we haven't covered yet. And it is so much. If you're going to make a show like this, I think this is a great pilot because it takes the most elements from the movies I mentioned before, Hidden Fortress and
Right.
Rashomon, and just from a aesthetic standpoint,
The style.
Yeah, seeing
think-
all those shots in the village, like
the
that was-
grainy,
Yeah.
they imposed the graininess on there. I mean, it was
And only making certain things. I mean, really, it was only the lightsabers that were in color,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it looked like painted on a screen.
Mm-hmm.
It was gorgeous.
And guys, let's face it. I mean, like, I want a universe where there are lightsaber parasols. That's all. I mean, I just that needs to be
yeah
always
we-
a thing in Star Wars.
That,
that was
was
like
helicopter
the
that
best.
was terrifying. It was
Yeah.
like the like Seventh Sister,
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
right?
Yeah.
And Rebels, but like times 17 blades.
That bitch got skewered by a lightsaber umbrella.
Right. We've had the helicopter lightsaber. We now have umbrella lightsaber. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward
Just-
to like golf club lightsaber.
Oh my gosh.
One can only hope and dream.
And we got a
Um,
microphone lightsaber.
We
in
did.
this
You're absolutely right.
Yes.
series.
We
Yes,
absolutely did.
We did.
Oh my God, yes. What about you, Alyssa?
Oh my gosh, that's a really hard question because I think that so many of them could have been a pilot.
Yeah, I
Um,
know.
I might change my answer later, but I think right now,
That's okay.
I am going to say the second episode, Tatooine Rhapsody.
Oh, cute.
Really?
Just purely because I feel like it was such a different flavor of Star Wars
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
that
Like,
we've never seen with
Yeah.
this sort of like punk rock.
I think out
under-
of all of them, it stood out as like
Yeah,
probably the
super-
most unique and like
super
surprising.
unique.
Sure.
And I think I just like I rewatched that one this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I think just because I want to see how that character Jay became a Jedi.
Yeah, you would assume that maybe in like episodes after that they would
yeah,
kind of,
they
like,
go
have some
back since they
flashbacks or
sort of
something.
did like a flashback. You know, the beginning of the episode starts with him like kind of crashing into his old friend's van, and he's like older and he's a Jedi now. And then they go back in time and tell the band story. So I think that
Because it's basically like it kind of feels like just post Order 66 when
Uh-huh.
they find each other, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So there's
I'm gonna
potentially
answer
like a darker story there.
correct. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Well,
that's gonna
yeah,
be my answer
yeah.
for now, and I might change my mind later. But that's it for now.
Well, I like
Daniel?
that because I don't know, Jabba, like characters like Jabba and Boba Fett and kind of the underworld,
Mm-hmm.
I think would really work in an anime show. I mean, we've clearly just seen it, but like especially if it became a longer, more drawn out series and it leaned on some of those darker elements, like Tatooine Underground would be.
Yeah, and
very
I
gritty
like
and
it like
fun
with the
anime.
juxtaposition of them being a band too. Like
yeah.
like
Any reasons to put musical numbers in Star Wars? I mean,
Struggling
I'm all for
artists
it.
in
I'm all for
Tatooine,
it.
man.
yeah.
And
I
also
loved
Boba
it.
Fett is in this show too, so that's great.
And he was dancing as well.
It
was. So was
cute.
Jabba. He
That's
was, like,
the part that got
whacking his
me. I
little
was like, tee
tail. I know, it's so funny.
It was very cute.
Yeah, what about you, Dan?
For me, oh man, she's real hard, real hard. But yeah, I think if I was gonna choose, it would have to be the Ninth Jedi. I feel like there's
Yep.
a lot more story to tell there.
See, I don't want that to be a series. I want that to be a feature. Like
Okay,
I
you know
want a
what?
full blown movie.
I take it back. Yes, 100% that. Yes, definitely.
It
That
could
would
work
be
as a series, but I want a full feature film.
Yeah, it's just like, well, I'm fast forwarding too, because I mean, like, I think that this one was also my favorite of the.
Yes, it was my favorite.
Yeah, yeah.
It was my favorite too. Oh, we all had the same fate.
Oh.
And that's
Aw, look
good.
at that.
That says a lot of things, I think. But yeah, it was just like so many cool elements that they added to this. That, like for instance, the fact that the color of the lightsaber changed dependent upon like the heart of the wielder. You know
that
what I
was
mean?
so
Like,
cool.
Mhm.
yeah, like if you had like, you know, an evil sort of being, then it would be a red lightsaber, you know, and
Yeah,
her
that
lightsaber was
concept is so
clear
cool.
before she
Mhm.
like figured it out, you know. She was like in a neutral zone and then she like did a really good deed and then it became, what was it, blue, or I can't remember, but I just thought that was such a great element. Like I was like they I'm surprised that it was when something like that like surprises me in the sense where like that could have easily have been an element in the original story, and like they probably should have done that because I love that idea.
Yeah, we should credit the writer and the director of Ninth Jedi is Kenji Kamiyama.
The
Mhm.
production IG.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned Ghost in the Shell earlier, and this studio was behind the series Ghost in the Shell standalone complex,
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Cool.
which I'm told is a revered. I mean, it's one of those revered anime shows in Japan. So maybe give that a watch.
I gotta give that a watch. Also, Simu Liu is in this.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi.
Mhm.
And what else? Oh my gosh, I just really, really liked it. Oh, you know what I really? Okay, well, I'm bopping around, but like something that about the entire series in general that just really got me was the music, and I was
Yes.
just blown away because like every episode had its own composer, but like each time I was like equally just blown away by the music and the style because it was like so unique but still very uniquely Star Wars too, I thought. But specifically I think in this particular episode it just
Yes.
sounded so cinematic and so
Mhm.
lush and full.
Well, and here's an interesting tidbit. Well, first, the music was done by Kazuma Jinouchi and Nobuko Toda.
Yes.
And what was interesting about this, and I had to go look this up because while we understand this is not canon, at least in the traditional sense that this is kind of the
Just
Star Wars what if,
stories.
Right.
Yeah.
but,
Star
but
Wars what
even
if,
less
right.
connected. But there were hints actually given to when these things take place, and
Totally.
in an interview, they mentioned that the Ninth Jedi takes place sometime long after Rise of Skywalker.
Right.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's
I just
really,
got
really far
goosebumps.
down the line.
But what's interesting about that now, musically, like the big theme, the big recurring musical motif in this episode sounded a whole lot like Rey's.
Oh yes, yes, and then not just the music too. Like there was a very clear, like Rey references, like her riding the speeder in the like it just like numerous things.
Yeah, this one felt. I know this is a different answer from the duel. This one felt the most Star Wars to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
I'd
would
be
agree with
interested in the
that.
pilot for the duel being a series, but this one was like this. Okay, this is Star Wars.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think out of all the composers, I think that was the only one that I actually recognized was the Nobuko Toda. She was the composer for the Ninth Jedi, but she also arranged the music for Super Smash Brothers.
Oh, dope.
Well, there
Yeah.
you go.
That's amazing.
Which is always very epic sounding, and
Yeah.
I always like kind of make fun of it because it's just so dramatic, but so uniquely Japanese. It's
So,
wonderful.
if you had to pick your favorite score from an episode, is that your answer?
I think that
Ninth Jedi?
for me it's
Yeah.
Ninth Jedi. Yeah.
Mine actually, my favorite score was the Lop and Ocho.
Oh,
Episode.
interesting. That's the rabbit episode, right?
Yes, so weird.
The rabbit.
So weird.
So
okay.
weird,
I mean,
and
generally speaking, that episode probably confused me the most as far as like
yeah,
the storyline
to be
goes. But
to be honest, I wasn't confused about it after living in Japan because
okay, interesting.
because I was like I that episode and the little robot boy episode, the TOB
I
one.
actually thought that was so cute.
That one was cute and I liked that animation style, but
Yeah.
to me that both of those are logged away into the little kawaii button. Like that's why they're there.
right.
um,
They're there to sell toys.
Correct.
Yeah,
And
uh-huh.
yeah, she's a cute rabbit who also knows how to fight and
Right. Because
eventually becomes
what else do you need?
wields a lightsaber. So yeah.
We
But,
needed we needed a rabbit lightsaber wielding rabbit. Yeah.
I mean, we didn't, but but it makes sense to me in the scope of this show. The Lop and Ocho composer was Yoshihiaki Diwa. And yeah, I thought that was really cool because that to me sort of combined very Japanese style influence of cinema
Sure.
scoring and Star Wars. Like it felt like a nice combo of both of those.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I want the soundtrack for all of them.
Well, and they just released
They
it.
released it.
Oh, they did.
So
Yeah.
go get you it.
Oh, I'm gonna put that on my Spotify.
Yes,
Yeah. I'm
exciting.
gonna put that on my Spotify.
So yeah, I think we're all in agreement that The Ninth Jedi
Oh my gosh.
Was it?
was our favorite.
Not necessarily the only one, because I mean there were a lot of
No,
really good things happening.
There are a couple others I'm thinking of specifically, and one of them is a bit more outlandish, but I still think really interesting in its parallels to the Star Wars we know, and that was the twins.
I
twins.
knew you were going to say the twins.
Oh my God, the twins!
The
Twins
twins
is
is
like
my-
all bombast and
Yeah, I think the twins is my number 2 pick.
Yeah. Just that really insane, bombastic anime, like just like insane
They're just
fight
fighting
scenes
outside
that
in
really don't
space
make
on
any sense, but you're just doing it because it's cool.
Yeah, and we were on board. Like
Yeah,
they set it up enough that I was like, okay, yeah, we're going here.
They're just like they're like outside fighting on top of a giant
double Star Destroyer.
Yeah, and like apparently breathing air that's not there, but it's fine because we don't care. And the guy like slices the entire like Star Destroyer in half with his giant ass lightsaber, and I'm here for it. I like
Yeah, it
all
was a
of
fun
it.
time.
All of it. Oh, you know what? Actually, I made a note. Something that was really cool or super cute. The the droids in that. There was our duo, which is cute. And B2ON, which is just one letter and number under C3PO.
that's
Cute.
interesting.
Very cute. Yeah,
so the
B2ON
twins-
C3PO.
The Twins was directed by Hiroyuki Imaishi and Masahiko Atsuka, and this
and the
is
Trigger production company.
they're from Studio Trigger. And as I was saying, there was an interesting juxtaposition taking two dark side, siblings,
like born of
and
the
having
dark
them
side,
go to
basically.
the light. Having one trying to pull the other to the light, as opposed to kind of what you have in the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
Also interesting, the sister is played by Alison Brie.
Oh.
Oh,
I didn't
realize.
know
I
that
didn't
when I
realize that
watched
was
it,
her.
and
Yeah,
I went
okay.
back and
Same.
watched it afterwards, and like, oh.
There you go.
Yeah, they had an all-star cast.
But yeah, I loved how kind of just there were no rules about this one. It was all about
Yeah.
spectacle, and
It to me, it kind of felt like I mean, they had adults in the writing room, but it felt like there was also a team of like first graders. They were like, and then
what
they get
would
on
you
top
want
of
to
the,
see? Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah, totally.
And then she throws him like that, and then
Yeah.
they kick him like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're on top of the Star Destroyer, and then he slices it in half with his lightsaber, and we're like, oh
well, there was
yeah,
a bit of like
Oh,
Harry
sure.
Potter
All this is
to it,
great.
too. Like I was thinking of like Dumbledore and Voldemort going at it. Just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
sure.
like, the big, bombastic
super
spell
splashy
casting.
colors.
Yeah, and it was really cool to see the Force manifested in that way.
Yeah, the way that they artistically depicted like duality was very, very clear. It's cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
The composer for this episode also composed The Elder,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and they're named Michiru.
The Elder was dope, too.
Michiru Oshima. And
So-
I thought that music was dope.
yeah. Studio Trigger did The Elder as well, and The Elder was up there for me. I might move The Elder into the number 2 spot actually.
Super simple story, but like just
That guy was scary.
ooh, so scary.
The first time he showed his mouth, I was like, ugh.
He's a famous actor too. Actually, there are a couple of famous actors. David Harbour was like the Jedi in it.
Yeah, who did the Padawan? I know that he's
Oh yeah, I'm forgetting his name
Jordan.
right now. Oh god.
Shiza.
Look
Yeah, he's
looking
a.
at
Yep,
Oh.
I'm right.
Jordan
Oh.
Fisher.
Yeah,
Oh my god, good for him.
yeah, he's an actor and a singer.
Yeah, I know
Um,
that guy. Well, barely. I mean, I've met him a couple times, but he's
Oh,
very
for real?
nice. Yeah,
Oh,
Cool.
my gosh,
friend of a friend.
got it.
Yeah.
Well, and what's interesting about this Studio Trigger doing both of these, so they said in an interview that the Twins also takes place after Rise of Skywalker. This is a post Rise of Skywalker
Okay.
story, and the Elder takes place sometime before the Phantom Menace.
Oh,
And
James.
so they
Hong,
literally,
that's the
this studio
creepy-
literally bookends the Skywalker
Interesting.
saga, which is kind of interesting. The Elder had a like a real Western feel
Oh,
to
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, the shot, the hip level shots.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Going into this sort of like abandoned town where there's like only a few people kind of sprinkled in.
And the elder himself, like, his face is like almost shaped like an Oni mask,
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
You know, one thing
Um,
that I sort of caught myself thinking about multiple times during this, and I think I'm going to try, if I can, to find these episodes in Japanese
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
and then watch them
Same.
with subtitles, because I know that they
yeah, these
they
are
did
dubs.
voice actors
Yep.
for lots of different languages. But I
Yeah.
think that would be really
Just make it that
interesting and
smart.
really cool, because I'm sure a lot of these writers wrote in Japanese first, and then
Oh,
they worked,
100%.
and then they worked with
Yeah,
the
I
translation
bet.
team to have it be,
It would
copacetic.
just make it that much more authentic.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think I'm going to put that on my list, because I think
And-
that will be, because I was thinking about it and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sure that this is like going crazy in Japan, and I hope that it is.
Yeah. Well,
it's
this is
just interesting
unrelated
to-
and related, but like if you're watching Squid Game with the dubbed
The
version,
dubbing, don't do that.
Do not do that. It's not the right show to do it. Oh, and this is no offense to the voiceover artist who did the
dubbing.
English version, but yeah, it's just it's not even the same flavor. It's yeah, it like
We're-
almost
we need to be-
changes the whole style of the show.
Sure.
Yeah, we're almost past dubbing. I feel like we're almost in a post-dubbing world.
You
I
know,
hope so.
and I understand, like, for some people, if you're not a super fast reader, or if you're
Sure,
not
sure.
if you're not used to doing the subtitle thing, but just as an experiment, put them
Try
on
it.
your TV for a couple of months, and
Yeah, try
you
it.
will get used to it.
I watch
Totally.
British period dramas with subtitles.
So do I.
now.
You
Same.
have to.
Totally same.
You
Just
absolutely
because
have
I
to.
don't want to miss anything. Like
Yeah.
That's actually what started our subtitle love in my household. We were watching The Crown
Yeah,
earlier
exactly.
on in the pandemic, and I
Mhm.
was like,
Exactly.
oh my God, they mumble so much.
You're like, I'm sorry.
And then
Was
now
that was English?
Now I just love it, especially for like when we're doing stuff for the pod, because I'm like, I don't have to, I usually try to watch everything twice, but
Yeah.
I have to do less rewinding, and I can keep the flow going if I can
what the heck is going
glance down and
Totally.
see what they just said. So
Um,
on? What I thought about with the Elder was interesting to me because I thought the philosophy in this one was the most Star Warsy.
sure.
And it makes sense that this kind of comes prior to Phantom Menace, is the Jedi Master, when he's talking with his apprentice, they're having a conversation at the end about like the nature of power, and the apprentice is like, is power bad? And the Master says, no, it's not bad, but it's like everything else, it's fleeting. And I'm growing weaker now, and the apprentice is lauding his master for defeating this Sith, and he says, well, if I had met this guy like
in his
10
prime.
years ago or in his prime, I don't think it goes so well.
Yeah,
And
right.
yeah,
You see what happens when just the flow of time, and that nothing is permanent. So
Right.
he explains to them as you are growing stronger, apprentice, I am growing weaker by the minute, and that's just the nature of things. And
Life lessons.
I mean, there's not a more Star Wars.
Oh, even in the beginning of that episode too, they talked about the Padawan is just like, oh yeah, well let's go seek him out, and he's just like, no, we don't, seek out violence,
Right.
at least in so many words.
yeah. One of that sort of like fleeting idea, one of the images from this series that just keeps popping back into my head because it's so beautiful. I think I've got to find a print of it or something, because in the 9th episode, Akakiri, that's what that one
yeah, the
was
last
called.
one.
There's this shot of
Such a sad story. That I can't believe
so
they
sad. I
ended
know.
with that.
I was like, oh my God.
Jesus.
But the shot of the character standing there in the cherry blossom tree, and it just like blowing through, and I was
Oh.
like, Oh my gosh, because
Whew.
if you don't sort of like understand what a big deal cherry blossom season is in Japan, Sakura season. just I mean, you probably will never travel there during that time unless you're privileged to get a paid for plane ticket because it's so expensive to travel
So
there during that
expensive.
time.
And everything's booked.
But it's like in a culture that's very private about emotions and public displays of emotion, it is an extremely emotional season there. Sakura blossoms grow and then fall off in like a week and a half period.
Oh, it's that short.
So it's that short, and the season is slightly different in different regions of Japan, but it's all within like a 2-month period. And I asked one of my Japanese cast member friends when I was working, other than it being incredibly beautiful and breathtaking, what is the significance of Sakura
why?
season? And it's essentially a life lesson on appreciating beauty when it's there, because it is so fleeting, because they bloom and then they're gone, so quickly. So it's this lesson
just
of
like life.
Yeah, just appreciate everything and everyone while you can, because
life is fleeting.
nothing is permanent.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was always so
That's some
I was
deep
always
shit.
so shocked by how like heartfelt and emotional so many things in Japan are, because as a
Everything
culture
has a reason.
they're very private about emotions and showing emotion in general. So I thought that image of I was like, oh, I need that. It's like
that's
something Star
gorgeous.
Wars with cherry blossoms like blowing through. It's so gorgeous.
But yeah, for those of you out there that are that don't remember what that story is about, it's basically like another sad tale of why Jedi are not allowed to fall in love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another poor reminder.
Mm-hmm. Because a Jedi comes back to the planet to help out someone he loves, and then she ends up dying at the hands of him. And then the Sith, who he's been fighting, basically offers him the opportunity to bring her back to life, and he chooses to be her Padawan in order to save his girlfriend's life, and then that's the end of the episode, and you're like, and the end of the series.
At the end of the
and you're like,
series.
oh my god!
I know. I thought maybe because as I was watching the Weird Bunny one, I was like, oh, maybe this is the end.
The Weird Bunny one. Oh my god. I also. Oh my god. I'm just going back to the kid one. The T Obi-Wan. Which is basically Star Wars meets Pinocchio.
Yep.
And like the Jedi that was in it was like a knockoff of Geppetto.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
But I loved that episode. I thought it was so sweet, and I didn't think it was gonna like be like the fact that Geppetto. I'm just gonna call him Geppetto.
That's fine.
Geppetto like gets killed. I was like not expecting that, and then him like avenging his death, and I don't know. I really loved all of that. I thought that was really sweet.
I didn't mention this when you asked us the question about which would make a great pilot.
Yeah.
It slipped my mind at the time. So the Ronin character from The Duel is the subject of a newly released Star Wars novel.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Ronin A Visions novel.
Oh,
shut up.
Oh my gosh.
Written by Emma Candon.
Oh,
and it's expanding
interesting.
on...
It's like a
the
novel. It's not a graphic
Yeah.
novel.
No, it's a novel.
Oh, wow.
How novel?
It released, I think, just last week, actually.
Oh my gosh, cool.
And kind of expounds on the journeys and adventures of this guy. So,
So like,
Dino,
if
you
it
gotta buy that.
I was gonna say if it does well, maybe they'll think about making it into a real show.
Yeah, I don't
Starring
know.
Lucy
Is there any? Do either of you know if there's any like mumblings of possibly a second season of this?
It would be weird if they didn't. I feel. I haven't heard anything official, but like, it just doesn't like. Why not? You know.
Yeah. Other
And
than
I
it
know they're
being
not
it-
done
it-
working with these studios. Like, it sounded like
Okay,
the
good.
relationship was going to be ongoing. So
Yeah, and assumedly it was expensive, but each of the episodes were so short. I can't imagine it
Yeah.
was like something that they wouldn't want to do again, because it only brings them and their studio some like really good visual
Yeah.
visibility.
well, and it's an interesting palette cleanse from what we're used to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
So I guess the question is for you guys: do you? I mean, it sounds pretty obvious, but do you want a season 2?
I do. And I do, and I also want them to continue on or fill in the blanks on the stories that I've said I liked the
Sure.
most.
Yeah, I'm in that camp too.
Tatooine Rhapsody and Ninth Jedi.
So do we feel like it's going to be like similar to What If, where they might actually bring some characters back?
I mean,
for
here's
a season 2.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
and
same.
if there are characters that like they're finding are resonating more with people, I feel like they'd be more willing to continue on with them in season 2. But what do I
like
know?
lightsaber bunny.
No, get her out of here.
Well, and I really like the convention of even if we never see any of these characters again, I like the idea of just getting little snapshots of points in time or places and not having them be interconnected, because the galaxy is giant
Yeah,
freaking
exactly.
gigantic. And
Yeah.
It feels
most
really
people
nice,
will
and
never
I think,
come across each other.
And
Yeah.
there's more than one galaxy,
Yeah, I read an article the other day that was basically like, are people burnt out on, 20 film franchise, 20 films in a franchise that have to all be tied together? And I think that there is some, we love it because that's
Of course
incredible
we
and
do.
awesome. But I think that there is something to be said for just like these one-off episodes. And even though a lot of them ended on mysterious notes, like it's just really cool to see different characters,
It's very brave, like
Yeah, and honestly, Alyssa, like you raised a good point. I think with Marvel, I don't think the fatigue sets in with Marvel because they were the first and only ones to do it really well.
Yeah, to do
And
it
it
really,
functions
really well.
kind of like a live screen comic book.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But if you then just mosey on down the street to DC, DC's at its best when they are, and these are movies that aren't
Standalone.
even out yet, but when
Yep.
they're standalone, the new
Yep.
Batman coming out.
that looks
Ooh.
so dope.
Oh, get out of here. Like
And
that,
the new
that-
Flash
The new
one?
Flash.
and they're all in their
My
own little
nipples could
corners.
not
They're
be
not worried
harder.
about canon. It's like that's when DC has rocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Um,
focus on that thing and have that thing be awesome.
Right.
Go with what you know.
Yeah, I was at work, but luckily I was able to live stream the DC fandom.
Oh, yeah, I
Event.
missed it.
It was
I
like
saw the
3.5
highlights.
hours. They
It's a lot of television.
Yeah. Lots
I'm
of
not
TV, lots of comic book announcements, but they did obviously play the new Flash trailer and the Batman trailer,
I mean,
number 2.
The
And
Batman.
oh my gosh.
The Batman.
I'm freaking out
yeah,
about that.
She's gonna.
That
be
looks like
Thor.
comic Batman. Like
She's
that
gonna
looks
be
like
very
comic
Thor.
book Batman.
That I had full body chills that entire trailer.
Yeah, she's
Like-
gonna be cool.
Oh.
And Michael Giacchino doing the
Oh,
theme. That
gosh,
dun,
he's so
dun,
brilliant.
dun. It sounds operatic and
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so excited.
And seeing Michael Keaton in the Flash, like
Yes.
that.
Yeah,
No.
was-
I know. I was like, I wonder if they're going to show. Oh, he's narrating. He's narrating. It's already begun. It's begun.
oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
storyline that movie is focusing on, Flashpoint in the Flash,
Mhm.
is
Mm-hmm.
forking nut balls. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to break that down because my brain is gonna explode.
Yeah. Anyways, so we got on a tangent, but yes, I would like to see a season 2 of this Star Wars
Definitely.
Visions.
Definitely.
Or even if they were just like, the best one was Ninth Jedi, so let's make a whole movie.
That's also fine too. Fine too. Yeah, I guess is there anything that you guys would want like, would you want more episodes? Do you think this was like the right size, or do you think
This was the right size. It was a little sampling platter of all the
totally.
different
a
colors of
platter, a poo-poo platter of Star Wars?
and honestly, this is going to be everybody's experience, but there were some I probably won't watch again. Like I just didn't really
me too.
care for. And
yeah, it was fine.
What
But
was
it
your
all boiled
least
down to-
favorite? What was your least favorite one? I'm just interested to know. Was it the bunny?
No, it was Tatooine Rhapsody.
Really?
You know,
Oh
on
my
the interwebs, I believe
Sorry.
that ended up
It's okay.
being. I think generally speaking, it was. Well, actually, I'll just give you the rundown. The Duel. This is on IMDb. Got 8.5.
Okay.
This is out of 10. Tatooine Rhapsody got 5.3. The Twins got 6.3, which is actually kind of surprising. I thought I would do better. The Village Bride got 7.6. The Ninth Jedi obviously got the best, 8.6. T. Obi-Wan got 6.1. The Elder got 8.0. Lob and Ocho got 7.3, which is, to me, kind
How?
of surprising.
What?
I don't know. And Akakiri got 6.4.
Oh. I think the one that, I don't think that I'll ever watch again will be the bunny. Sorry.
Yeah, and maybe I actually need to force myself to watch that one again because I just wasn't in the right mood.
It's just crossing the cultural divide of like
That probably also is a huge portion of it, honestly. Like,
yeah. Like,
it
I
just
remember...
doesn't, it
different
doesn't
sort of
sit as well
entertainment.
with an American audience, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's insanely popular.
oh yeah, they've
over
sold
there.
many.
I'm
units
sure
of
there's
toys of
already
that.
tons of stuffed animals
Yeah.
being sold, and yeah, for sure.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
that one, and probably just the last one because it was so sad. I don't think I need to see it again. Um,
It was so sad.
You know, one that I thought was like super, and also sort of a different Star Wars flavor that we haven't seen was the Village Bride.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
That one was interesting to me.
It was interesting.
I found myself.
That was the one where the Jedi goes to this village who is basically being attacked by these raiders who took over some Clone War era droids and are basically like, holding the village like hostage. They're like, like you have to give us one of your women or we're gonna kill y'all.
Yeah, it was interesting to me. It was not like my most favorite, but I thought animation wise it was really, really lovely to look at.
Yeah, totally.
And that was done by Kinema Citrus. It's the studio that did that one.
One that kind of leaned into the I don't know. I would say the old Yoda discussion about how the Force is all around us, and this one was so
Christmas
heavy
is all
on
around
nature
us.
and the natural world, and
Yeah, I thought that was sort of a new. I mean,
it had like a Last Jedi feel to it, where Rey is
yeah.
those shots in Last Jedi where she's meditating and she's witnessing life, the little birds being born and then death and the waves destroying the eggs, and just how Star Wars is kind of an ecosystem, and how the Force can be found and lives in nature. And I think this one aesthetically did the best job of.
Oh, and Village Bride
The
also
thoughts.
had the same writer and director. It was
Oh.
the same person. It was Hitoshi Haga.
Mm-hmm.
There were only two episodes, Village Bride and Ninth Jedi, who the writer and the director were the same person.
Oh my God, you guys.
Yeah.
This entire time, we have not discussed the awesomeness that is katana lightsabers.
Oh my gosh, I
Why
want
have
one.
we not talked about that yet?
I don't know. I will say that about the Weird Bunny episode. The saber looked really cool.
The saber was dope. Yes, absolutely.
Well, yes. I mean, just the idea. I mean, if again we're mining the parallels between Jedi and samurai, the
Yeah.
reverence for their weapon, and I mean, a lightsaber is analogous to a katana
Oh yeah.
samurai sword.
Now, I'm actually curious about your opinion about this. And maybe you'll have some actual insight on this, Dino. But do you feel like George Lucas would have made it a legit katana if he had the ability? Like, or do you think he was limited by, the special effects that were available? Or do you think it was always supposed to be the shape that it was? Because I don't think any of us ever really discussed that, so I assume it was always supposed to be that shape. But
I think it has been discussed. I just couldn't tell you where. I'm trying to remember if it was in like Empire of Dreams, like one of those big documentaries where they're talking about A New Hope. But I know the lightsaber was always supposed to be indicative of a katana. What I found actually interesting, and I don't know if anyone else caught this, and I need to go Google and see if there's any commentary on this, but in Tatooine Rhapsody, the idea that the microphone is a lightsaber,
yes,
I thought back to what eventually ended up becoming the sound of a lightsaber and was a microphone being dropped behind a television.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
right.
That's super cool.
That
That's
is,
cool.
that is cute.
That's
That's
nod
pretty
and
cute.
a wink.
Yeah.
A wink and a nod, a wink and a very, very cute.
Yeah, but I want one. I want like a very traditional looking like katana
Fucking cool as hell.
sheath with like a saber that is like kind of like
Thin.
the dark saber. Like
Yeah,
where it's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
slightly bent, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Curved rather. Oh, I want it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And of course, the umbrella saber. I
So dope.
want
Yes.
giant umbrella saber.
Sure.
Or
Yeah.
I like the Elder has the two short katanas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
fighting with some
honestly,
short
like Disney, just like get on it, because we know that there's like some like people out there that want that lightsaber umbrella. I mean, I've seen there are lightsaber umbrellas where like the little holder, like the thing that you hold in your hand, is a lightsaber. But yeah,
Oh, yeah, I
make
have
all
one.
the little oh, you have one. Great,
Yeah.
great.
Of
But I
course.
want one that has like all the spokes. I want all the spokes to also be lightsabers.
That would be cool. That
Yeah.
would be cool. No, mine doesn't do that. It's just the main part is Yoda's saber.
Sounds like it
Alyssa,
would be
I'm trying to remember.
batteries.
Were you the? I have a pair of light up Star Wars lightsaber
Chopsticks? Yeah, I gave you those.
to me.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine finally burnt out.
Aw.
I'm
I
sorry.
need to get some new ones.
Sad.
Yeah, they're.
You can't replace the batteries?
Oh no, no.
Oh, no.
Well, I just joked on myself. You can't replace them.
Mine died.
Yeah, it's just when they're. I mean, they were like a couple bucks. So when they die,
Oh,
they die.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Got it. The
Also,
memory
like,
will live on.
yeah, because you have to kind of be careful when you're washing them that they don't get water splashed
Oh,
into the
sure.
electric compartment.
Don't want to get
So-
It's not.
electrocuted
Yeah,
while
it's
you're
not
eating
the
your
most
sushi.
practical thing, but they're great.
It's electrifying.
Oh man. Well, yeah. So that was Star Wars Visions. Do you have
Visions.
any other thoughts before we
What a vision we had. It was
say
splendid.
any other words?
I
have no
appreciate just in this world of remakes and kind of nostalgia diving that we got something a little new.
New and brave.
Is it my favorite depiction of Star Wars? No, but it's really fun to mine the material that made Star Wars. And
Yeah, it adds so much color.
and really all of these filmmakers deserved a go at really opening up their styles to Western audiences in particular, because that's
Yeah.
the big portion of their audience.
And I think also something that's really going to come of this is that there will be manga inspired by this and sold
No doubt.
Mhm.
specifically in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
because I think
So-
that it's going to, if there's one thing that I know about Japan, and this is not like a slam at all,
Slam!
but they just slam. They
Japan slam!
they have such an appreciation and love for Japan and for all things Japanese and for Japanese people.
You got him, Alyssa. You slammed
I
him.
slammed them.
you
Take
that.
did it. You did it.
No, I just think that it's going to be really special for them to say like all these different Japanese teams and animation studios
Oh, I'm sure there's a great sense of pride that goes with it. Yeah.
got to make their own Star Wars. So
and that they were dope as hell.
yeah, so I think definitely if there's not spin-off series in animated series in Japan, there for sure will be manga inspired by these characters.
One
Well,
can
and
only certainly hope and dream.
listening to several of the directors talk about getting to do Star Wars specifically, and how this has been at the top of their list for like things they never thought would happen, but the fact that they get to do it's just another great story of.
We live in very blessed times.
Yeah,
as far as nerd content goes.
Letting new voices into the room and enriching it.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of makes your imagination run wild, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There certainly did.
Just think about the possibilities of, like, the really possibilities are endless at this point. Like, so cool.
Dino slammed you, Daniel, speaking of slams, and you
Oh,
didn't
you
even
just
hear
did?
it.
I missed it. My microphone is so
I
quiet.
slammed him?
Yeah, he said, this certainly makes your imagination run wild. And Dino said, yours certainly did.
Oh, no, I said theirs certainly did.
Oh,
I thought you were talking about Daniel's.
I said
slammed
theirs
yours.
as in
You
like the
imagination
directors.
slammed me, Alyssa.
Imagination slam!
But now that you mention it, imagination slam, Daniel.
Damn it!
Because your ideas are
Oh.
stupid.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Oh, wowsy. Well,
But I digress.
we do have a little bit of Marvel news.
Marvelous news?
It's not that marvelous, but
Oh, all right.
lots of things have been pushed back.
Everything
Yeah,
has
that's
been
not
pushed
marvelous.
Pretty
at
much
all.
everything except for Eternals
And Spider-
and Spider-Man.
And Hawkeye.
And Hawkeye.
Okay.
So everything else is coming out in 2023, essentially.
Well, everything's
Late
just been pushed
2022.
I think everything actually has been pushed a couple months off of their
It was all like a big cascading effect.
2 or 3 months for each one. So
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is now what, May?
Yeah, it went from March to May.
Which
Do
is
we know-
smarter
Bad.
for them.
Do
No,
we
that's
officially
smart for
know
them.
what was the reason for the push? Like, because it was, I assume it was one big project that made everything else get pushed, right?
I-
Well, no, I think it was just COVID. I think
Yeah,
it
I
was
think it's just
Yeah?
COVID stuff.
giving
yeah.
We
giving
just need
everything
more
room to
time.
breathe.
Yeah. So they
Mm.
pushed everything, and then there were
Breathing room.
two unannounced projects that were in development that are no longer in development. They've taken them off the table
Oh,
the-
interesting.
for the time being or forever. I don't know.
Well, and a little bird
mean-
told me that we might have another unannounced show on the books.
Marvel or Star Wars? All right.
We'll see.
Well.
We'll see. Very excited. Yeah.
Well, they have room in the slot where Rangers of the New Republic was supposed to be. So
There's room in my slot.
okay, goodbye,
Well, see ya.
Thank you so much for joining us.
dear God.
Awesome. Well, that's it then, I think. Right?
Oh, Harry Styles.
Oh, yes. Harry Styles has been they announced it at the Eternals premiere that he is going to be playing
A villain?
Thanos' younger brother.
Yeah, right. Interesting.
So, I mean, he's a singer.
Thanos' younger brother's uncle's former roommate.
Yeah, so I don't really know if he's an actor, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm thrilled. I hope it's a musical. That's all I'm saying. Anyway.
You know, my youngest sister used to love him when he was when he was in One Direction, the
Oh
band.
my God.
And yeah, he's kind of a fun character now. He's very like
Yeah.
gender fluid, non-binary.
Did he make a Game of Thrones cameo?
Oh, I don't
no,
know.
I think you're thinking of oh God. People made fun of him for it too, which I was like, oh guys, come on, be nice.
Someone who's listening to this is just screaming it.
Screaming, and we can't hear you. We
I'll
don't
give
know.
you just scream louder. Game of Thrones.
Oh, Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran. I literally found it at the same time. Here it
Oh
was.
boy,
Yes.
that sounds
very
like it
small.
would be
It was
very
very small.
bad.
He played a Lannister soldier.
It was so brief. Like
Okay.
yeah, very brief. Didn't he sing a song too in it? Am I crazy?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
so. Maybe
Yeah, it was
maybe
like a
he
little
might
like
have
soldier song or something. I don't know. It's been
Ed
a long time.
Sheeran is one of those people that like he's got a cool voice,
Yeah.
but like I am always, he's doesn't look the way that he sounds,
True.
and
Mm-hmm.
so every time it doesn't matter how many times I see a photo of him, When I
That's
see a photo
not
of him,
right.
I'm just like, ah! It's not
Ed
as
Sheeran,
it's not
he's
as
nuts.
dramatic as my reaction when I see a photo of Andrew
me.
Lloyd Webber.
Oh, yeah, he's a little spooky.
When I see a photo of Andrew Lloyd Webber, I actually scream
He's a
every single
vampire.
time.
The Elder.
The
Elder. The Elder. Oh
Truly.
God.
Oh, we got to do a
So
side by side.
spooky.
I'll do a
Oh.
side by side and post that on our stories. Oh, wowsy. All right. Well, thanks for listening to us talk for an hour about things.
Some dope stuff.
And
This has
if
been
you,
the Ed Sheeran podcast.
If you haven't watched Visions yet, go ahead and watch it, or try the ones that we said that we liked the best, and then maybe you'll watch more of them.
Yeah, work your way out from there.
It's really not much of a time commitment. You can
Oh,
watch
no,
the
it's
whole
very
bloody
simple.
thing in like
A
2.5
day.
hours, I think.
Yeah,
A little Star
easy.
Wars tapas for you. Just,
Yeah, Star Wars
Ah,
tapas.
delish. All right, well, thanks so much for listening. This is Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. I'm Alyssa Simmons.
And I'm Daniel Dawson.
And I'm Dino Nicandros.
May the Force be with you.
Always.
Inside the Tauntaun podcast. Please like and subscribe.